What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing on the bacon NBA DFS video. We are back with a full 10-gamer for the second day of the NBA. Hopefully you guys had some success yesterday. We are now back with a full slate. So that means we're going to have a full video for you. We're going to give you each position. Anytime there's at least 5 games on the slate, 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. If you want to see updated values, you want to see updated projections, those are all on the website right here. We still have a few coupon codes left. If you've been on the fence about FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, a normal yearly pass is $200. If you use the promo code NBA is back on the yearly pass, you're going to get a yearly pass for $74.99. That is a full year of every single sport that we offer. So MLB, NBA, NFL, PGA, MMA, NASCAR, we've got it for you. So NASCAR's winding down. We're done with MLB this year, but that'll get you the entire 2025 season of MLB. We are rocking and rolling. So if you've been on the fence, go check it out, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. If you're new to the channel, we had a lot of new subscribers yesterday. We have giveaways every single video as long as we hit the criteria. By liking the video, being a YouTube subscriber, and you've got to leave a comment on this video to be in the running for the giveaway. If we get at least 50 likes on this video, we'll have a chance at a free week of FTA+. 100 likes on the video, a free month. 150 likes on the video, a free year, and 200 or more likes on the video, a chance at a lifetime pass, which is a $500 pass. Now, yesterday's video had 27 comments and 125 likes. So someone right now is going to win a free month of FTA+. We are also going to have the second giveaway of someone who predicted the highest scoring player on the slate, and that was AD yesterday. So I do know some people edited the comments to make themselves closer to said fantasy points, that's considered cheating. So we're going to go back, this video and moving forward, we're going to go back to just a keyword instead of that. But we are going to have those giveaways. So first off, we are going to have a giveaway for the first free month of FTA+ during this NBA season. So you can win every single day. So come back today, tomorrow, the next day, and leave comments on the videos to have a chance to win. So the winner of the free month of FTA+ is Mikey Strikes 7203. So congratulations. Please email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1 at gmail.com, and we will give you a free month. Now, the winner of the comment, I can see the edit history of your comments. I get an email when you send it. So I see the original comment, and then I see the edited comment. So let's just put it that way. So the person who scored the most fantasy points last night was AD, Anthony Davis. So what we're going to do is, just for this one, I'm going to have you guys email me, and the winner between DM Air Plus, we've got him, we've got PGA Daily, and Jeff Cerny. So what we're going to do is we are going to put those 3 names in random.org and randomize it. Let me be right back. All right, I'm going to randomize this 3 times, and on the third one, that will be who the winner is for today. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. DM Air Plus, congratulations. Please email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we will get you set up. So, moving forward today, we are going to give you guys a keyword. Listen for that keyword to have a chance to win, on top of winning just for leaving a comment and hitting a minimum of 50 likes. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our NBA points allowed by position tool. We're going to go through. We're going to build a couple of lineups at the end as well. So as always, we've got a sponsor, Outlier.Bet. Make sure you go check them out to sign up. The link is down below. You have a normal package from them, then you have a premium package for them. If you sign up using our link for the normal package, we're going to give you a free month of FTA Plus once you go through the 7-day free trial and pay for that package. If you go through the same thing, if you go through the premium package, go through 7 days, pay for that premium package, we're going to give you 3 months free, which is a $90 value. So what we love is we love to go into the game section, and we like to look at everything. So we're going to cover the Vegas odds real quick. Then we're going to go through the top 3 mid and value picks at each position for today. You could also check the article out down below, and we've got a ton of content under the NBA tab: Vegas odds, bets, simulations, fantasy points allowed, DFS chalk, player projections, and even our cheat sheet, which gives about 5 to 7 players at each position for cash, 5 to 7 for tournaments, and then some value picks as well as building some lineups. So let's dig into it. So we've got Pacers at the Pistons. You know what? So just so this video is not as long, if you want to see the Vegas odds, go check out the Vegas odds. But the just kind of looking at the highest over-unders, we want to get it, at least at 220. You got the Bulls at the Pelicans with 227. You got Charlotte at Houston, 229. Memphis at Utah, 228. Those are the highest scoring ones. So when there's a huge slate like this, take a look at the highest over-unders. And if there's 10 games and you got 5 highest over-unders, break it down a little bit more simpler. Look at those over-unders and maybe start targeting some players in those matchups there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go position by position and give you guys our top 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. So looking at point guard for today, number 1, I've got James Harden. We're projected right around 51 fantasy points. Now, these projections obviously are a little bit different. They can range anywhere from 4 plus or 4 minus on every single side. But these are the early projections. If you want to see updated ones and everything else, that is on the website. So you got John Morant, 50.1 51 fantasy points as well. And then Trae Young at 48 fantasy points. A couple of mid-tier picks here. Got Cam Thomas at 37 fantasy points, Anthony Simons at 36, and Tyler Hero at 35. And then some value picks here, or smaller picks. I've got Kevin Porter Jr. at 24. I've got Andrew Nembhard at 23, and I've got Kyle Lowry at 23 fantasy points as well. Moving to the shooting guard, Chris Middleton is out. Trey Murphy is out. Those guys are already ruled out. Shouldn't be a surprise. Number 1, I got Devin Booker at 45 fantasy points. Number 2, Donovan Mitchell at 45. And number 3, Zach LaVine at 43. Mid-tier here, we've got Colin Sexton at 34. We've got Jalen Green at 34 and CJ McCollum at 34. And then some value picks here at this position. Gary Trent Jr. at 23, Eric Gordon at 22, and Buddy Hield at 22 fantasy points as well. Moving to the small forward, Barrett's out, Murphy's out, Middleton out, yes. Sharp is out, Brown is out. All of these guys are already out, so we do not have to worry about that. So, small forward, 3 top picks that I like. Pascal Siakam at 42, Lauri Markkanen at 41, and Desmond Bane at 39. Mid-tier picks here, we got Norman Powell at 30. We've got Cam Johnson at 27. Got DeAndre Hunter at 25, and then a couple of value picks. Benedict Mathurin at 20, Derek Jones Jr. at 19, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. at 19 fantasy points. Moving to the power forward. We got, obviously, Giannis Antetokounmpo at the top here. We've got him going at 62 fantasy points. I've got him at 62 fantasy points. I absolutely love what he brings to the table here. Zion questionable. I think we're going to see Zion questionable every single day because he's fat. We've got him at 49 fantasy points, and then Scotty Barnes at 45 as well. Some mid-tier here. Miles Bridges at 37. We had another Bridges brother yesterday who we used him yesterday and it worked out. Some of our value picks in a 2-game slate yesterday, like Miles McBride, absolutely killed it for us as well. So our projections, they're doing pretty good. We've got Jalen Johnson at 37, Jonathan Kuminga at 32, and Tobias Harris at 32. And then some value picks here at the power forward tonight. Caleb Martin at 25, Aaron Neesmith at 23, and then Taylor Hendricks at 22. Now, obviously, as the day progresses and the season progresses, the value picks are going to change throughout the day because some people are going to be ruled out and then the value is going to bump up. So these are early projections. What I will tell everyone, and what I tell everyone with pretty much every sport, is if you wait until a couple of hours before tip-off, projections will be updated. Injury reports will be updated. We'll be good to go there. So make sure you always follow the injury report and the projected lineups and projected minutes and stuff like that about 2 hours before tip-off. And then some value picks here at power forward. Tumani Kamara, we've got him at 20 fantasy points. Simon Fontecheco at 20 fantasy points. And Jake LaRavia at 20 fantasy points as well. Then we move to the center position. Embiid is out. How long is he out for? It's wild, yeah. He's had all offseason. He's out still. So that obviously will open up value for Philly, just depending on where we're at. But we look at this. Center position, Nikola Vucevic at 45 fantasy points. Alperen Sengun at 44. Jarrett Allen at 40. Some value here. Our mid-tier here, Bruno Fernando at 36, Nick Claxton at 36, and DeAndre Ayton at 35. And then we get to the value picks here. We got, I think it's going to open up, Brandon Clark at 25, Bobby Portis at 25, and John Collins at 25 fantasy points as well. Now, overall, those are three top, three mid, and three value picks. Overall value, people are looking for value. That's the name of the game here. The top 5 value picks overall, I believe, today, if they play, Bruno Fernando, we've got him at about 9 times value. Now, what you're looking for when you're building your lineups is about 8.5 to 9 times value for every single player. Now, you're not going to get that for everybody, but that is kind of what you're looking at. If you can find, the $3,000 player, $4,000 player that isn't supposed to play but then gets those extended minutes and gets 10 times value, that is where you can break it down, and that is where you're going to make your money. So Bruno Fernando, 9 times value at the moment. Brandon Clark at 3,700 if he gets the start for 25 fantasy points. We've got him about 6.6 value. Emmanuel Quickly at 6.37 times value. Nick Richards at 4,000 on DraftKings, about 25 fantasy points out of him, about 6.21 value. And then Gershon Yubusele. Now, it depends on if he'll play. For Philly, got him about 5.74 times value, and we're projected just right around 17 fantasy points. So those are kind of what you're looking for. Think about it that way. Those are some of the value. Now, they will open up throughout the day, and that's kind of the big thing, what we're talking about. So this is a tool that we have here. And you can find it on the website under the NBA tab, but I'm going to bring it over here, and we're going to build a lineup using just this tool, and then we're going to build another lineup using different information as well. So stick around. We are here for it. So looking at point guard. So if we look at point guard, overall, and obviously we only have last year's stats to go over, so once we get a couple of weeks into this, we will then start to feel comfortable using this tool completely. But looking at this, the number one who are playing tonight that gave up the most amount of fantasy points was Utah. They gave up 56.3 fantasy points per game, which ranked 29 out of 30th last year. So that brings us to Ja or Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's obviously going to give you value, but Ja Morant's the starter, so we've got him there at number 1. If we move to the shooting guard, Washington Wizards, they gave up a ton all year, but they're not playing today. So the next one we move down is Dallas. So we go over here. Dallas also not playing today. We move down the list. Atlanta gives up last year against the shooting guard 46.8 fantasy points per game, which ranked 27th out of 30th. Now again, it's a new year. Defenses have changed. I get that, but that brings us to Brooklyn. So Brooklyn guys. So Cam Thomas with Bojanovic out. Wilson is there, not doing much. Cam Thomas is going to be my shooting guard here. Now, obviously, it depends if Cam Thomas is playing point guard or shooting guard. That is where you kind of got to figure out where they're starting and go from there. So now we move to the small forward position. Utah gave up the most amount of fantasy points to that position last year at 50.3, with Washington right behind them at 50.2. So looking at that as well, you go back to the well here. We go Memphis against Utah. Small forward. It's Desmond Bane. Average last year 41 fantasy points per game. He was 8,000. That's right above 5 times value. Obviously would love to see more. So LaRavia, if he's going to get some run, we could look at this. If you look at his splits last year against Utah, only played 1 game, only had 4 fantasy points per game. You can see his last couple of games to end the season, he was over 40 fantasy points at his price of 4,500. Yes, Desmond Bane is the guy, but I'm going to take LaRavia here just to break up the monotony of the high price guys and give us a couple of value picks here as well. So moving to the power forward position today. Washington gave up the most, then Utah gave up the most. So, again, Jaren Jackson being out, Williams Jr. being out, G.G. Jackson being out. Okay, that's Santi Aldama. Now, whether or not he's going to get this start, we look at it, he's 5,000. He averaged 2,500. That's 5 times value right there, especially at that low price. We're going to put him in there. So this is obviously looking at like a Memphis-Utah stack. So if we go through and we look at this, this is one of the highest over-unders as well, which is great, 28.5. So check that out as well. Now, we go to the center position. Moving to center last year, I believe it was Washington that gave up the most. Let me make sure. Yep, Washington, then Portland. Washington, Portland, San Antonio, Toronto. Washington is not playing. Portland is playing, so Golden State. So Portland gave up an average of 61.6 fantasy points per game to the opposing center last year, which tied for dead last with Washington. So they're both equally as bad. Now, it will really depend on which Draymond Green we're going to get here, because Draymond Green last year, as you know, had some good games, and then he had some trash games, like Utah, 16.75. So I want to look splits against Portland last year. He averaged 39.5. He's 6,700. He makes some sense here if we're building that way. So now we're able to average 5,500 the rest of the way to go at a guard, a forward, and a utility spot. So if we were to go with the biggest value for the day, as of now, Bruno Fernando at 3,900, he's going to allow us now to move up to 6,300 the rest of the way. So a guard and a forward here. So just kind of looking at a guard and a forward, if we're at 6,300 around there, we're looking right in this range here. So, we didn't really talk about a ton of these, but you can find the value there. If you want to find another value pick here, it just depends. Like Brandon Clark makes sense, but Brandon Clark's a center. We can't put him in there, okay? That would be going down the list to find the value. Nick Richards also a center. So we could, it just depends if he's going to get in there. Game logs obviously has not played. This would be a value pick here for forward. Now, if he's in there, great. If not, just change this lineup a little bit. So now we're at 9,600. So you've got Damian Lillard, Halliburton, James Harden. James Harden, I like James Harden here. He allows you 400. So maybe we find someone for 3,400. I don't know if we're going to be able to find that. That may make sense. Moses Moody makes a little bit of sense if he gets some run in there. I don't mind him. You've got Jarace Walker. Splits-wise, he faced Detroit once last year, 5.3 fantasy points. The minutes were not there. That's the problem. And again, it's a new year. The minutes are we got to kind of get into a feel for who's going to be in this lineup and who's going to have some run here. So just in case we look at all this, you look Jason Tate, Concher. You got him at 16.8 last year at 3,300. He's got a good matchup in a high-scoring game where maybe it's a blowout. So again, it's a Memphis stack here with Morant, LaRavia, Aldama, and Conker. But you've still got Bruno Fernando in there. You've still got your plays in there as well. So that is building a lineup using the matchup tool. Now let's just build a lineup not using the matchup tool and using just the big guys that we think are going to have a good game. So, but before we do that, the keyword of the day is coffee. So make sure you get that keyword in there if you guys want a chance at a free week on top of a chance at whatever if we get a minimum of 50 likes. So you could have a chance to win a minimum of 2 weeks today if we get at least 50 likes on this video. That being said, just kind of looking at these plays that I feel comfortable with and want to build around. I think for sure we've got to get in a couple of plays here. Now, depending on where you want to go, we do have, you can use Outlier for bets, which we do bets as well. I'll be posting some bets in the Discord, which is down below. But let's build another lineup using some of the plays that we really like in this game. So it'll really be dependent if Zion is in. He's questionable. He didn't practice Tuesday because of an illness. Game time decision. It's an illness. It's probably the flu. But I would assume he's probably in. So I'm going to add him as my power forward. I think as of now, Bruno Fernando is going to be in my lineup for center. We'll kind of wait to see if any news comes out and changes. So looking at this, one guy we did not talk about that I do want to look at in this game against Cleveland, you got Manuel quickly. Obviously, faced Cleveland 4 times last year, averaged 28 fantasy points. Not a ton, but again, we don't have a ton to go over right now. So we'll go with him. So we'll go to small or shooting guard here. Another one that we didn't talk about, but in that game that should be a high-scoring affair. I love Colin Sexton here. 6,100, 31.2 fantasy points per game was what he was averaging last year. It's over 5 times value for his price for this year, and anything can happen because it is a high-scoring game. So we move to small forward, and just depends. Well, let's look at guard. I want to put guard. I gotta get James Harden in there. So James Harden is in there, and now we're averaging 5,100. Utility spot, I think we can fit in Clark. Brandon Clark's going to be cheap, 3,700. So now we're at 5,900 for a small forward and a forward, which I'm okay with. So looking at small forward, depending, we could probably go Zach LaVine in this matchup against New Orleans. I love Zach LaVine even more if Williamson is out. So this we could change it up a little bit if we need. And then another one we're looking at, just depending on where it is, Obi Toppin, you could look at him, 4,500, averaged 20 last year. LaRavi at 4,500, you could look at as well. Hardaway Jr. at 4,500, I don't mind. I think I want to go LaRavia as well. So we're going to get that Memphis-Utah stack or game stack here again as well. So those are just a couple of lineups we can build. If you have any questions about them, definitely make sure you check us out. We've got a ton of information under the NBA tab. We've got PGA tomorrow, which is starting to wind down. We've got NASCAR this weekend. We've got NFL, obviously, this weekend. Make sure you check out the NFL content. We really kill it with the NFL content. We're going to break down the showdown lineup for Thursday night. We are going to give you guys the projections. We're going to give you guys the rankings at each position. We had videos for all of this last week. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out all of our content. Make sure you check out all of our social media. So we're on TikTok now, so check that down below. Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, Twitter, advisors_team, or on X, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to be doing some changes to the website, maybe make it a little more user-friendly as well. So again, if you have not signed up, go check out for a week. We do have first come, first serve. If you use the promo code NBA is back for the yearly pass, instead of $199, you can get it for $74.99. A few of you took advantage of it yesterday. If you want to be part of it, we've only got a few coupon codes left. Use the promo code NBA is back. So that's what I've got in this video. Good luck today. Let us know your favorite play today, and if you got some betting tips for everybody, let us know some of your favorite bets for today as well, either here or in the Discord. But liking the video, watching the entire video helps out the channel more than you know. So good luck today, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.